Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this is live Feature Rant, as it always is, every week that I'm not at E3 or some totally awesome thing like SOE Live. Um, so we have two awesome people here. We have on my screen left Poro Sorceress, returning guest, and on my screen right, returning guest, and now regular, in fact, Adam. He is actually going to be here, not just for this week, not just for next week, but he's going to be here for a few more episodes, for a little while here, actually. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Oh my God! You mean I'm going to stick around?
Yep.
All right. Well, you're stuck with me now. So there you go. Yes, I'm joining the show permanently as his co-host, and we're I'm equally as excited about the game, and I wanted a chance to be able to pipe in on a real regular basis on Landmark and the community and all of that. So, sorry, Landmarkians, you're stuck with me.
Yep. Gonna be seeing this guy for a little while. As for Poro, you are one of the awesome sculptors in the community. Why don't you talk about some of your sculpting projects and what you've been up to a little bit here?
I'm not that awesome at it. Anyway,
No, you've made some pretty cool stuff.
Silly woman. You are indeed a truly awesome sculptor. I am. You and Super Fancy Unicorn, I watch a lot, do the sculpting thing in Landmark, and I'm truly jealous of how you guys can just jump in there and do it. Like I just can't do it. It's just not a gift I have.
So recently what I've been doing is asking Twitter for requests and then sculpting what they ask for on my stream. So I've done a Dark Elf statue for Coda because he's doing a Dark Elf build and he asked me to do that, but I'll do pretty much whatever. I'm probably going to be doing some sculpting from Player's Studio because I like money. And I have the Landmark Community Aquarium build that we really need other sculptors for. I can't be the only one doing it. Most of the structure seems like it's built. We have a lot of places to put all kinds of different marine animals of all types, and even if they're extinct, it doesn't matter. They're all cool. So if you want to do that, then definitely message me. I've done an octopus for that, an eel, a plesiosaur, a manta ray, and now I'm doing an oyster with a pearl in it. That's what I was working on today on my stream.
I made the big fish from the Super Mario Brothers 3, the big one that just eats you whole. I made
like Monster Cheap.
Yeah. I made one of those and put that in the aquarium with all Lumicite voxels. Back where it was at the original position, it actually looked like a low-res original Cheap further in the distance, and then as you got closer, it came into resolution as the larger one. It was actually kind of funny.
It's in the background of one of the screenshots I took of my Dark Elf sculpture.
Nice. Very, very cool. Yeah, Poro's new hair is awesome. That's right, I forgot.
Yeah, everyone in chat is commenting how awesome her hairdo is, and I agree. It's pretty rocking.
I'm sorry, it's dark. Nothing
wrong with that.
Yeah, camera does its best with it. So, before we actually
want to start, I got notes for everything that went down on the Landmark Live and the workshop. Do you want to? I know there was something you wanted to talk about from the community this week. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to save that for later?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. You know what? Actually, maybe the first thing I should do is pull up. It would probably get in the way if I did that. I actually got a couple of images, one with Felgon and one with Pentapod at E3. I'll just post those on Twitter later. It was great seeing them both at E3. And I guess I already talked about E3 last week, but I'll talk about it a little bit. And you know what? I should be saying hello to everybody in chat here because I see a whole lot of awesome people up in
There's
here.
There's a lot of folks in
I'm
chat.
just going to start from the top. Shadow Spawned, Cadavari, Diggs, Iclithid, Old Gamer Broad, who's actually my top donor right now, Devents, Tobes, Ulrich, Papuza, Buckwheat Throckmorton, Bad Viking 82, Neoplasm, Andrew, I think I already said Defense. hello again. Coin and Cleavage, Flaming
Craving
Cowhead.
defense special treatment.
I guess so. Hey, no.
We're going to be here all night reading the chat room.
Yep.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh,
Thanks for coming.
I'm almost
Tweet
through
about
it.
it. Spread the word. Get your friends in here.
Good
So there you
idea.
go.
Labels, evil effects, flaming. Oh, evil effects. I do want to definitely give a shout out because he is one of the awesomest builders. He can, like, in 3 days he'll build something that is one of those builds that makes people say, "Oh my God, I'm gonna quit and uninstall Landmark," which people totally shouldn't do. Like, he does a lot of the streaming and stuff, so you can see the techniques and how he does it.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be able to just do what he does because he's also got that creative vision as an artist to be able to make those awesome things happen. Evil Effects, he is like a real talented artist, both in game and out. So definitely someone who you should check out. You're going to be at SOE Live this year, aren't you? Evil Effects. And hello, Certified Zombie. He is in fact a certified zombie. I've seen it. I've seen the certificate. So what kind of fun builds are you folks looking for? I mean, other than I'm sure Flaming Cowhead would love to see a Flaming Cowhead on Player Studio. No SOE Live this year? Oh well.
All right. Do we want to do a straw poll for today? What do we want to do a
Straw
straw poll about?
Good question.
Tell me, chat room. We need to know before we start the show official? Like, what is it besides what we're went on the Landmark? What is else you want us to touch upon? What do we want to talk about this week, chat room? Tell me. I'm watching you.
So your 24 level maze, nice.
Max is working on a maze right now that if he finishes it, I'll definitely do a contest and give away the dreaded Portcullis for it.
Nice.
I feel a little bad. I have one and I have no use for it right now, so it's just literally sitting there without anything around it. Like for people.
Honestly, if anybody wants it, they can have it because I think I'll get it back after the wipe anyway. So whatever.
I'm actually thinking about using the and you can redo more than one code, by the way, but that means you're just going to start in open beta with multiple Portcullis, which whatever. But
I'm gonna start with a lot of stuff.
The idea of using it as like a bridge that extends out, scale it up as big as you can, and then have it somewhere that you click it and it extends across the path from one spot to the other. That's more where I would be using it. I just don't know if it's got holes and you fall through it or not. Of course, that could be fun. I still haven't even messed around with it yet. All I've done since my my last claim got wiped is pop up a new claim on Courage Kettle up on the highest peak, and at some point I need to do a giant line tool only alpha style build where I just build this giant sprawling thing people are going to fall off of. But if you make it to the top, you can get your diving practice with that damn belt, which is what I was specifically requested for, was the highest peak you can possibly get, highest point you can possibly build up, and that's what I'm going to do with it, because that's how I roll.
All right, so I'm starting to get some feedback from the chat room. Flaming Cowhead says talk about anything but the giveaway for the month. He may have a point. He may have a point on that. Throckmorton wants us to go talk about whether we think the blueprint stuff for post E3 will actually go in before July.
Before, some of it's going to spill over into July, and combat's definitely not going to be finished by the end of July. I know this for sure. Thank you for the follow. But what I would say is the what combat they give us, depending on what they give us, it could be quite a sufficient amount to tide us over. If we don't have combat with enemies, it looked like on my Skype camera, it looked like one of you bumped into each other. That was funny. if we have enough stuff to do PvP and to be able to have world deformation, we can at least start making arenas and at least start making player-on-player interactable combat. And I think that would be a lot more meaningful in the earlier state, because that doesn't have to deal with AI at all. That's just putting in the attributes, putting in the weapon interactions. But at the same time, that could be, just as difficult, because you also have netcode and collision considerations, though they have a lot of that to work with from PlanetSide 2 and also H1Z1 to rely on. So it's not like it's, putting an entirely foreign system in. It's something that they've already got designed, and it's just, the implementation. I don't know who's doing the combat stuff, who on the dev team is specifically in charge, and whoever it is, they apparently aren't allowed into stream chats or something, because I can never get any information from any SOE people on combat, and I want to know so bad. I mean, I know everybody does, but I really want to know.
It's really not that far away, man. I mean, everybody. I know that it feels far away because we're all super invested, and we are waiting day in, day out, every moment, every week for what new 5 things showed up in the patch this week. But they're moving very quickly. You know what I mean? Before the end of next month, a lot of that, I think, is going to be in the game, and we're going to be playing with it.
That's true. That's true. I mean, it doesn't really feel like that long anymore. It's 2 weeks. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I can distract myself with procedural roguelikes for 2 weeks. That's easy.
Yeah. And,
You have a friends list?
What was that?
I'm sorry, say again, Poro?
I said, remember when we didn't have a friends list?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, little by little it grows and grows. Like, I helped Uni do some cave exploring today, and we were all confused and running around and all of that. And I did say on the stream that this will be a lot more fun and a lot more exciting when there are mobs in the cave. We're going to be like, oh shoot! Not only do we have falling damage, and I can see why it's going to be an issue in caves. You're going to be run into monsters in those caves, and that's going to add a whole nother level of what you're doing in there. It isn't just picking away mining stuff, which I think we can all agree. We're all kind of like, all right, I'm kind of over mining things. I'm ready to do more. So I get that feeling. I get the restless feeling people are getting,
Right. Totally feel you. Though, I mean, I feel like the exploration, the discoverable items that we have now has definitely given a lot of people a lot more, and I feel like they're kind of ramping up what's kind of exciting people. Even if the Iron Portcullis didn't quite deliver on that, it's still a pretty neat item. But we'll talk about that later, and we'll talk about that later.
I heard them say that when combat first starts, it's probably going to be static enemies, and it reminded me of the Degubabas from Zelda. Like, I think that's what they're going for the first iteration of combat, but oh well.
Yeah, I could see static, or things that they don't path anywhere, they just teleport, maybe when they're not being, there's no line of sight on them and there's nobody around. Though maybe they had been on this wall the first time you come through, and then the next time you come through, they're over on this wall. Same creature or whatever, or maybe not.
Well, I get the impression, based on how I've run into chests and stuff so far, that like the world, about every 30 minutes, the caves reset. So, if someone just went through the cave 5 minutes before you got to the entrance and they found the chest at the entrance, come back around in a half hour, you may find more chests again, and what spawned inside will move around and change every half hour.
Right.
35 minutes, something like that. That's always freaked me out. Has anybody noticed when the world does a refresh? Because
I haven't actually seen the world do a refresh right in front of my eyes.
I've seen it happen like 2 or 3 times, and it literally is like everything that's spawnable in the world de-draws, and then suddenly the world just reloads in. And if you're out and about while it's happening, you will notice it happen. And it will, like, if you're in a hole digging something, it will, like, eject you out. And, like, you'll respawn sort of, like, standing on top of where you were.
Now, here's the weird thing. Felgon told me that the current world, I don't know if it's going to change with this patch, but as of last week, the caves didn't actually replace. They're all in the same position, and they said the only way they would actually change what's going to happen. Yeah, Dark City, Panther Panteragook. That's a great reference.
Yes,
Um,
yeah.
that basically the caves will not change until a server or a region goes down, and that world is physically removed. So it has to physically generate a new path for the caves when it comes back up. That's
Gotcha.
the only way it regenerates right now. It
Yeah, I've
should
noticed that
probably
because
change
there's a
soon.
cave literally like a grapple, a hop, and a skip, and a double jump, and I'm standing over in the mouth to an entrance to a cave from where I have my place set up. So it's very easy for me to just pop in, dip over there, see what's going on, run down the cave, see if I can find a box, run out, go
Yeah.
back to what I was doing, and check in on it. But they seem to be static, like they have not moved at all since they've spawned in on Monday. So that's for sure.
For sure.
Just
Yeah,
to
and Joe,
answer
he
something.
hasn't noticed what I was saying because he's too busy falling through floors right now. So, go ahead.
What was that, Poro?
To answer something that Tenma was saying about bugs, I don't know if you caught this, but they were saying they fixed the bug where you can't grab the arrows sometimes.
Oh,
Okay.
It's not in
fantastic.
the
Yes.
notes, but they fixed it.
Because
Yeah.
that was so damn annoying. I
You
mean,
can just do it. You could grab them if you held down your right click at the same time to like change the view, and then you clicked on the
Yeah.
arrow. It would let you grab it.
Well, that's good.
weird.
Excellent. Oh shoot, I think it was Tenma. Yeah, Tenma was saying he was seriously disappointed with the amount of bug fixes listed this week. The dev that responded to my forum post assured me there would be quite a few, but all I saw were fixes for the last two patches. Again, I understand your frustration, Tenma. I saw your post, and it's all you make excellent points. I'm positive these things are going to be getting addressed in the near future. I wouldn't sweat it too much.
Yeah. I mean, it's been how long since the post was made? Most companies don't even iterate on
Yeah, and
something
you
like
gotta
that
remember
in like
everyone
2
was at
weeks.
E3. They had people at E3. Folks have been spread out all over the place, so they're just getting back. So I'm sure by next week, I'll bet you anything over the next two patches, 3 patches, in addition to what's supposed to be coming, you're going to see some fixes for a lot of those things. So I wouldn't. Again, we're in closed beta, and even though it's closed beta, I mean, I really foresee us being in closed beta for a long time. And this is
Oh, yeah.
just, the game's not going to go live, in August suddenly, if things are not ready. I really get the impression that, it's about making sure all the pieces fit together and are working properly, and all the underlying structure is working the way it's supposed to. So, and we know there's still a lot of that to come. So. I know some folks, like I said earlier, are getting anxious, but we got a long way to go. This is a long ride, and if you're bored or you're frustrated, take a break. Don't worry about it. They're not going to be offended. It doesn't mean the end of the game if you don't. If you decide to let your claim lapse and you take a couple weeks off to wait for things that you're excited for. I know more than a number of folks are like, yeah, I'm kind of not into the building thing, but. When more of the adventure stuff comes in, I'll definitely check it back out again. And I get that, there's a whole, we're all the hyper invested folks. I promise you, there are folks out there that do not know this game exists yet, have no idea what's going on here with the development of things. And when they find out, when it gets on their radar, it will spread. This is a very different kind of game. It's going to bring a very different kind of player to the field. The folks who are the diehard, I'm sorry, but I see a lot of the same names that I saw floating around running fan sites for Star Wars The Old Republic, back when I was doing that. And I love you all, and clearly you're all passionate gamers. I'm not knocking you for this, but you're always rolling from the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. So if folks like that cry, I'm out, it doesn't impact me because I know I'm here for the long run. I'm not worried about am I getting immediate satisfaction this minute in development. I know where we're going down the road,
I mean, I think it will help the game to have.
Yeah,
such
like
a
Diggs
long
is saying.
period.
Yeah, he's saying that, Poro. Exactly. It's 'cause we're still really in kind of alpha,
So you might not be like enjoying it extremely a lot the whole time because by the nature of it, it's kind of messed up. But like maybe in the end, it'll pay off.
Yeah, and I know, I don't want to derail this. It's just I know some folks are frustrated right now, and things aren't moving as quickly as they would like, and I hear you, but I'm glad that there isn't like a deadline like, nope, we're going to be live at this date. Believe me,
Yeah.
if you turn around suddenly like a week from now and go, okay, game's coming out 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be a little like, whoa, wait a minute, guys. But,
Yeah,
it's
that would be more than a hashtag Dave please at that point. That
Tenma,
We gotta
Tenma
get that
saying,
going again.
Tenma saying that he thinks they should have stayed in alpha. No offense to anyone, but
well,
PvP things should have been added before beta release. No, I agree with you, Tenma, if
old
those are
school
the things that
software
attract to
terms.
you. However, their priority was to get the building tools in play. I mean, again, I'm telling you, you more talented builders, keep your eye on the prize. If your dream is to work for a company like Sony Online Entertainment and you are good at building, keep your nose to the grindstone is the best advice I can give you right now. Don't get frustrated. Play the game, play along, be involved. Because you're the ones that are going to be getting offered jobs when they're ready to go full force next. So don't be too hung up on, well, what about this and what about that? It really was about, because they need you guys. Like you guys know more than some of their internal people. We all know this. You guys are paving the way and breaking the game and and finding new things to do. And it will be because of you guys that people are able to pull off Dark Elf architecture. When even the producers of the game were like, we can't use voxels to make Dark Elf architecture.
Which is funny because
it's
they
all
wanted
about
us to
the
do
building
it.
right now. Like that is important for them to nail down so that other things in development can move forward. So that's where we are right now. And I hear what Tenma's saying, and I think from what I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nero, they kind of came out of alpha because they had given a date and they were committed to having to keep it, right?
Yeah, and there was no
It was a
backing
mistake.
around.
They
They
learned from it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of those things that like it's a lesson that keeps getting learned over and over and over at SOE, and it's not one that's too bad, but it's definitely one that's noticeable that they can easily put dates on things and have things things that they think are going to be ready by a certain time, and then it's not
Yeah.
ready by that time, but they're already locked in. I remember that with Star Wars Galaxies. I remember
Yeah.
like a week before it went live, Dathomir still had the purple, replacement texture for the sky.
Yep.
A year in,
Yes.
didn't it still have the two nests overlapping each other bug?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All sorts of crazy stuff. Now, Tenma's saying we lost a lot of Alpha Builders players due to the rush for caves and Player Studio when they should have focused on PvP and group stuff. Those are key to keeping a player. I guess, Tenma, but again, there's no bait and switch here. Not that you're saying they did, but they made it very clear from the get-go, here is where our priority is in the beginning. I think we've established they had no choice. They made a mistake, and they set a legal precedence for them, to say we're going to be out of alpha at this date. They learned that mistake. I can guarantee you that H1Z1 has their Trailblazer packs, whatever they're going to do, there will be no date on when it's coming out of alpha, So I totally hear you, Tenma. I am not disagreeing that, those other elements are coming in, but they're going to be here soon. They're going to be here in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Easy. And then we can start complaining about how that's broken. We
Yeah.
have to fix it and now for
Yeah.
our feedback on that. I totally hear you on that, but it's you got. I just like to remind folks because it's a truly unique thing. They not to kiss their butt, but it's a truly unique thing that SOE is doing right now with Landmark and eventually Next.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the fact that they're going to let you guys help build the game is, if all you're interested, or if you're more interested in PvP than building, this isn't the time for you. Come back later. I understand.
Yeah, they did make it pretty clear in the blueprint. It wasn't
See,
a sooner, it was a
Tenma, now
later
we're
thing.
falling into to you personally. PvP is more important than cave exploration. But clearly, the SOE developers feel differently for their priority and development at this time. And that's that's a difference of where you're at as a player. I hear you, but it's opinion. It's not a fact, and it's just that's just one take. But
All right.
anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail. I certainly just wanted to get that out there. I certainly feel everyone's impatience and pain.
I'll be honest with you, there wasn't too much to derail. We actually didn't really get started. So I think this would actually be a good time to do that. So, those of you who weren't with us when we first opened up the audio channels here,